Well, folks, here again for the weekly forecast. And of course, during this last week, we've seen a wild swing in temperatures and precipitation. As Monday and Tuesday night, we've seen two weak waves move to the north of us that kind of skirted northeast and north central Nebraska and resulted in some fairly decent snowfall, especially Tuesday night across portions of northeast Nebraska with 2 to 4 inches reported. And on the Monday night's event, we were basically in the ½ inch to 1.5 inch range. And then 2 days later, here we are on Thursday, we start to see severe weather outbreak with that storm system that's moving in from the southern plains. And this represents, with this storm system, the most broad-based coverage across the state for precipitation since we've seen the December 25th, 26th event, which did also brought severe weather to the state. So as we go to the upper air models, what we will notice is the system that brought us all the precipitation, the upper air low, is now just to the east of us. We're still seeing some wraparound moisture with this system, but for the most part, we've seen some clearing skies in western Nebraska. This upper air low will start to pivot toward the northeast. We're still going to see some precipitation here in eastern Nebraska, but the more concentrated moisture will remain to the eastern Nebraska, so we're probably expecting less than 1/4 inch total remaining for the day. As we go to tomorrow, we see another weak wave with low pressure to our south. There is some concerns with the models in regard to the placement of this low, but overall right now it's pointing to an area that will generate some precipitation in western Nebraska and then fill in some precipitation across southern Nebraska. If the system lifts a little farther north, we'll see more significant precipitation in the I-80 corridor. Now as we get into Monday, we'll deal with this surface low in the eastern portions of the Corn Belt, and on the backside, of course, will be basically in the clear sky regime. So we might skirt some of this precipitation across southeast Nebraska, but more importantly, we'll see some ridging taking place as we get into Tuesday, bringing a lull in the weather. Yet another upper air low in the southwest will start to pivot toward the central plains as we go into late Tuesday and in Wednesday. And then we'll start to see some of the precipitation in the central Rockies start to spread eastward. So as we go into the day on Wednesday, here's this upper air low. The GFS says is the farthest south of all the models, and we'll start to see the low starting to move up from Colorado. It will start to move out into the plains region, and we'll start to see the moisture spread rapidly from the southern plains into the central plains. If this system comes out a little bit farther northward, we're going to see this precipitation shield lift much farther north into Kansas and Nebraska. So by the time we get to Thursday, the upper air low pivots out toward the southeast. We got a series of lows, so there's plenty of moisture that's going to feed toward the north, and there's evidence that we'll start to see a pretty significant severe weather outbreak to our south, and some of this will start to make its way toward the north as we get into Friday. So here's that broad upper air trough starting to open up. We start to see moisture streaming up into the eastern Corn Belt with a series of lows that will move in toward the northeast, and once again we'll start to see moisture breaking out across the central United States. This could be much more intense as currently depicted. We'll just have to wait to see till next weekend. In terms of 8 to 14-day forecast, the warm weather starts to slide to our east, and in terms of precipitation, broad area precipitation as there are several more storms coming down the pipeline as we enter into the month of April.